So there are many ways how we can contribute to the implementation of Paris Agreement. Firstly, we also have to adapt to climate change. So for the coming 50 years, we will see this negative trend of climate to continue, and if we are successful with the mitigation, then we could see it phasing out around 2060s. That means that we will see more often disasters related to weather. That means more often heat waves. In some parts of the world it means more flooding, and in some parts of the world it means more drought. And also we expect to see more intense tropical storms. And to handle those disasters, we have to invest in the national meteorological and hydrological services, early warning services, multi-hazard disaster risk reduction services. And that's one way what WMO and its Met services, its members can contribute to. And then we also we are a source of scientific information, so we are providing information what's happening in climate in real terms, how this temperature trend is continuing, what is happening to the sea level, what is happening to the glaciers and Arctic sea ice, for example. And then we also have a monitoring network for greenhouse gases, and we can inform the decision makers how successful these emission reductions are in real terms, whether we see this improvement of the for example CO2 concentration, which has been rising very rapidly recently. And then finally we can also deal with services to renewable energy. So once we build more solar, hydro and wind power and also bioenergy, there's a need for new type of services to control this system. You need to know what is the variation of the sunshine, where cloudiness plays an important role, and also this wind power potential. That's very much dependent on weather. You have to have good forecasts on wind, and also this hydropower is also dependent on rainfall amounts and also snow amounts, and all this means that there's a need for new energy services, and that's what the national meteorological and hydrological services can provide, and we as WMO we are helping countries to build such services. So we can contribute both to climate adaptation, and we can also contribute to climate mitigation. National meteorological and hydrological services, they are also providers of early warnings. It means that we have warnings on scale of hours to days, and for example these tropical storms, severe flooding leading rainfall amounts and so forth, we can issue those warnings to the National Meteorological and Hydrological Services, and it's important that the people get that information, and that's where we are working. And also it's important to know what is happening on seasonal scale, and for example in countries like Indonesia, one can issue fairly good seasonal predictions. It means that you know 3 months ahead whether the season is going to be more rainy than normally or drier than normally, or what is the temperature going to be. And by knowing that, you can also get information which is important for example, forecasting drought, which may lead to forest fires like in countries like Indonesia, and also very poor air quality. And this air quality is also one issue that we are dealing with, and the National Meteorological and Hydrological services are dealing with. So it's and now we are also working very much to get information on what's happening on decadal scale, what's going to happen in the coming 10 years or coming 20 years, and that's also important information for decision makers who are making some decisions on infrastructures and also businesses and. So in summary, this scale that we are dealing with is ranging from from hour scale to seasonal scale to even decadal scale. Indonesia is also a country which is very much exposed to this climate change and climate variability. We have seen very severe cases during the last 1.5 years. The first, this drought, where there was a contribution of climate change and then also El Niño event, which led to forest fires and very poor air quality, which had also health impacts. And it's important that we, both in Indonesia and also globally, we start reducing our emissions, and that means that we should use more energy sources which are renewable. And in your country, there's a big potential for solar and wind energy, for example, and also bioenergy. And then also in transportation, in traffic, there's a need to move towards more electric cars and public transportation when you can reduce the emissions. And thirdly, it's important also what kind of food you are eating. So if you eat more meat, that means also higher emissions, and also if you eat lots of rice, the production of rice contributes to the methane emissions. So there are three issues: electricity, energy, and then this transportation, and thirdly the food that you are eating. And I'm happy that also the government of Indonesia is taking this issue seriously, and your government has a plan to reduce the emissions.
Thank you so much for your chance.